Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to the Board of Building Standards and Appeals meeting.
Yes, this is Tasha Robinson.
Okay, we're just waiting for everyone else to join.
Okay.
Good morning, Maurice. It's Patty. Happy New Year.
Good morning. Happy New Year.
I just have my usual verify live stream, object to chat. Thank you.
Sure. Good morning, Mr. Bradley.
Hello, this is Tasha Robinson.
Hello. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning.
This is Howard
just-
Bradley. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay.
Just waiting on a few more people to join.
Okay.
Charles Ficklin of CNT Construction.
I'm glad to see you made it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Hold it. What place is 7026 on the docket?
You know what? I don't know that. Carmela would know that. I don't have it in front of me.
Yeah,
Okay.
Joe. Yeah, I couldn't get no pictures come up.
Watch.
It
I
says
got
the Webex meeting. And I'm gonna hit yes. Hold it.
Come over top.
Oh, yeah, you're wrong. Max, it's coming up again.
Open it up.
It's connected. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm on now. I'm over there.
Bradley, can you mute yourself, please, while you're talking on the phone?
Tarp. I need to get this tarp over there. Everything on there that fit on there? Show him how to get this tarp, JP. You put this tarp. Pop it out of there.
It's going to take a few more minutes to get started here. Apparently, there was a screw up with the meeting links, so we're waiting for everybody to join.
Okay.
And Mr. Dank made it. Yay!
Yeah. The lost sheep has been found.
And Mr. Maskey, all right.
Howard Bradley said he was trying to
He's
get
here.
on already.
He's here. He beat
Okay.
you.
Hello?
Hello?
I don't have any video.
You don't. We can see you.
And Howard's here.
See? You jinxed me, Maurice. You said you got there.
Well, we
Now,
can
wait a
see
minute.
you just fine. Mr.
I
Gallagher's
got
here.
nothing but the seal of the great city of Cleveland.
Yeah, that's the presentation.
Wait a minute. Yeah, I don't have anything though. Please mute your microphone.
Yeah, that's it.
Joe, you're in the right spot.
You're good. Here, let me change the slide and then we'll see it. Did it change?
Oh, got it. I got it. It came up.
You're good to go.
Okay.
Well,
Cleveland.
no, hold on a minute. Let's check. Are we all, Carmela, are you ready? Are we all here now?
No, give me a few minutes.
Tasha Robinson is here.
Thank you.
I'm trying to find a Dorisha Gray. 1 second.
Okay.
Hi, this was Rodney Reynolds. I had a 9:30. Is this the one I'm supposed to be on for now?
Yes, sir. We're just giving people a few more minutes to all get logged in, and we'll start here in a few minutes.
Okay.
Glad you made it to the right meeting link.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here,
Little technical snafu this morning.
Okay.
You sounded very official there, Maurice. That was good. This is your operator. Has Tom Vanover, is he in?
He is.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Yes.
Patty in?
Patty's here.
Patty who?
Patty, you.
Dennis, you awake?
Does it look like it or no? So far, so good.
Dennis is here.
Just waiting for Carmela to come back and let us know that
Okay.
we're ready to go.
He's going to start it. Good.
Hello?
Hello?
That's
Hello, can anybody hear me?
We can hear you. We're just
I'm
waiting
having
for a
trouble
couple more.
hearing.
Okay, we're just waiting for a couple more people and we'll get started.
I'll bring a harmonica next time.
Oh, please do.
Yeah. We can't have dead air.
You can serenade us all. Okay. You can set the mood.
We'll play Name That Tune. And I can fool everybody. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Who is Charles Fickling? What property are you here for?
Hello? Hello, can anybody hear me?
We can hear you. What property were you here for, Mr. Ficklin?
7026 Wade Park.
Okay, thank you. You can mute your mic into your document.
That's at the end of the meeting.
That's the end of the meeting?
Well, yes.
Oh, wow.
Oh, we go fast.
Well,
I think it's a relatively short
So,
agenda.
trying to get two appellants in. Give me a few more minutes, please.
And we have a Dorcia Gray, although I suspect that's not Dorcia that just logged in.
She logged in just before.
Okay, because I know that Carmela was trying to get Miss Gray on, so that's good. We got anybody else?
Tasha Robinson is here.
Gotcha. Thank you. I think Carmela is still working on one more.
Is Patty here?
Yes, she is.
Very good.
I think we're just waiting for an applicant.
Well, with this terrible winter weather, we'd have taken this long to get downtown.
Yeah, I was surprised to see the snow on the ground this morning,
Yeah.
and not a good surprise.
Boy. We're getting away without winter though, for sure.
Snow is good. Snow is good.
So far. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? It hasn't been that bad this year. We haven't had any highs in the 20s, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah, right.
You guys just,
Okay, so the appellant for A3020 is still trying to log on, so we can go ahead and get started. I think I have everybody else here who responded that they were going to be here this morning.
Okay. Ready to go?
We can start the preamble, so we can
Yeah,
start everybody.
Go ahead, Mr. Dank.
Are we as good as we get?
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead with the preamble.
Cleveland Board
Can
of
you hear me,
Building.
Joe? Hold on. Can you hear me, Joe?
Yes.
Can you hear me, Joe?
Yeah. Mr. Bradley, you're on. You've got yourself on two microphones, or you're logged in twice. That's why we're getting an echo.
You talking to me?
Yes.
What does he do for that?
Somehow he's got two instances.
Shut the mic off.
Okay, well, now
Got it.
they're both muted. I just muted both of them.
so can you unmute one of them?
Let's try this one. Go ahead and try to unmute yourself, Mr. Bradley.
Howard?
Yes, unmuted. Hello?
No, there's only one unmuted, and we're still getting echo. I don't know how to tell you to. Well, hold on a minute. I can remove one of these Howard Bradleys. Maybe that'll help.
Hold on to your chair, Howard.
Okay,
Yeah,
now
he's-
try to now
I put him
unmute
out.
yourself.
Okay. Ready to go? I'm gonna go. We're going.
Go ahead.
Cleveland Board of Building Standards and Building Appeals is now in session. The preamble is as follows. In compliance with notification requirements of Ohio's open meeting law under COVID-19 emergency declaration, notice of this meeting has been publicly posted. All boards and commissions under the purview of the City Planning Department conducts its meetings according to Robert's Rules of Orders. Actions during the meeting will be taken by voice vote. Abstentions from any vote due to a conflict of interest should be stated for the record prior to the taking of any vote. In order to ensure that everyone participating in the meeting had the opportunity to be heard, we ask that you use the raise hand feature before asking a question or making a comment. The raise hand feature can be found in the participants panel on the desktop and mobile version and activated by clicking the hand icon. Please wait for the chair or facilitator to recognize you and be sure to select unmute and announce yourself before you speak. When finished speaking, please lower your hand by clicking on the raise hand icon again and mute your microphone. We will also be utilizing the chat feature to communicate with participants. The chat feature can be activated by clicking the chat button located on the bottom of the WebEx screen. Patty?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Patricia McGinty Aston for the City of Cleveland Law Department. The city would like to ask that verify that independently that this meeting is being live streamed.
Yes, it is.
Thank you, Maurice. And then the city would also object to the use of the chat function. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Noted. Thank you. Carla, can you put the, there we go. Call the roll, please. Carmella?
Mr. Belsky,
Here.
Mr. Bradley, Mr. Dink,
Bradley is here.
Mr. Daly, and Mr. Gallagher.
Here.
We have a call.
Yes.
You didn't call Tasha Robinson?
Not yet.
Oh.
You'll be calling your docket number is called. Please mute your mic until your docket number is called. Takara,
That's fine.
thank you.
First docket A 6920, 1274 East 102nd Street.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is interior and exterior maintenance, issued December 6, 2019. Appeal statement received January 6, 2019, requesting for 1 year to abate the violation. Present for the hearing, Patricia Ashton Law, Tom Vanover, Building and Housing, and Will Levy.
Solemnly swear or affirm the comments you are about to make are the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help me God.
I do.
I do.
May we hear from the appellant's plan for the abatement of the violations? I think Levy, Mr. Levy,
Yes, can you all hear me?
give us your plan, if you have one.
Yes, I'm in the process.
Whoa.
Sorry, is that me or is that someone else?
Try again.
I'm in the process of trying to rehab the overall property. I have some architectural plans to do a full gut and total rehab of the property. One of the issues is that it's a 6-unit building in which 5 of the tenants have already vacated the property. But because of the COVID CARES Act, I am not able to have the other remaining tenant vacate the property, which is thus delaying me to start the overall renovations of the property.
You say you had 5 tenants leave and there's only 1 left in the property?
Correct.
Okay. Mr. Vanover?
Yes, sir. So, this was issued December of 2019. And 6 months before the COVID care restriction actually 6 months before the moratorium on evictions. So, a lot of these are maintenance issues that could have been addressed before then. So, where we want them to, we want properties rehabbed. It's been a long time. We're more than a year now that this has been out there. And I'm not understanding why, if there's 1 out of 6 occupied, the other 5 can't be, permits can be pulled, application can be submitted. The interior work as well as the exterior work can be, that work can get done while there's somebody living in it. This is a R2 apartment building, so there can be 5 units rehabbed and completed before before the eviction of the final tenant goes through. Well, I don't find that as a valid reason to not do it, especially when there's been a year to get that process started.
Excellent point, Mr. Vanover. Mr. Levy, you have a comment on that?
Yes, I have previously spoke in regards to, this is a rather old building. Obviously, it was built in the early 1900s, and a lot of the repairs that you all were requesting were more of what I would call a Band-Aid on the repairs. And so I did not want to do a cosmetic repair. I wanted to do a full gut and total remodel of the property. And in order to do that the proper way, I needed to have the entire place vacated and the entire place gutted down to the studs in order to do the type of remodel that I'm looking to do.
And Mr. Chairman, if I can also add, this is, this is a corporately owned property. So there's nothing, Mr. Levy, that keeps you from doing that other than the, your decision to wait till the tenant is removed. We would ask that you deny more time, remand it back to the Department of Building and Housing, because, Mr. Chairman, because the reality is, based on the desires of the appellant, there is no plan. We don't know how long. I know that the moratorium on evictions is extended till the end of this month, and there's a person living in the property, and there's some substantial issues. So we don't have a hard date, and it's a plan to wait, which we do not accept. So we would ask that you deny more time and remand it back to the department, as this is an investment property that should have never gotten to this condition to begin with.
Mr. Dank, we have Mr. Maskey with his hand raised.
Mr. Maskey, yes.
Mr. Chairman, to the appellant, since you've been in a moratorium to evict your one tenant, have you finalized design and drawings with a professional to submit to the city, so when you do evict a tenant, you can get permits and are ready to reconfigure the building?
Can you all see my camera now? Are you seeing this?
Only part of it. You're not. You have to raise it higher. The document.
Is that good? Because for some reason, I have my camera. I can't.
I'm not interested in what you're showing. Can you just, you're in testimony, so if you could just speak what you're showing.
I have actually worked with an architect to get plans set. I already have the plans ready. I have not submitted them to the city because I'm waiting for the specifics on the actual tenant being evicted. I've been working with the housing department for almost a year in regards to this last person being moved out of the property. So I'm kind of stuck between two pieces.
Well, my recommendation is to submit your drawings if you have them, so the building department understands the seriousness of what you want to do, and then they will work with you on the building. But if they don't know what your plans are and you're just waiting until some future day where a tenant may or may not leave, well, then no one knows if you're serious or not.
Okay, I can do that. I mean, that's not a problem at all.
So, Mr. Chairman, I would recommend we give them time to submit and then let the building permits take over.
Well, it sounds like he's already got the plans, Mr. Chairman, so we would ask that you keep that time relatively short. We don't object to 30 days to submit plans and then remand it back to us from that point.
Okay. The members agree. I'll assume, Mr. Maskey, good job. A motion is in order to grant the appellant until March 1st to submit the plans for permitting, for review and permitting. Motion so in order.
So moved.
Second. Motion by Mr. Maskey, second Mr. Gallagher. Call the roll,
Mr. Chairman, we do have Ms. Aston with her hand raised.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, preliminarily, if you could state what year, and in anticipation of the roll call, I don't know, Maurice, if you are able to unmute and mute Mr. Bradley as needed, because I already anticipate what's about to happen. Thank you.
No, I cannot. The system doesn't let me unmute. Mr. Bradley, can you unmute yourself? Mr. Bradley?
I think he's trying to unmute his phone as opposed to his computer.
He always agrees.
Yes, that's Mr. Chairman. This is Patricia McGinty asking again. That's why I'm anticipating he has to answer under the voice roll call. That was why I said I anticipated what was about to happen. He has to do it. No one else can do it for him. Otherwise, he's not considered present under Robert's Rules of Order. And that's unfortunately just what the law requires.
Well, three of us can get this done, so I think we should.
Howard?
I agree. And Mr. Gallagher, in anticipation of that, then you have to give the 3-man warning.
I can get Howard, I can have Howard answer through I've got him on the phone. He can answer by answering through my phone to my iPad. You got that, Howard? Okay. Call the roll, please. You're gonna get called, Howard, and just answer through my phone, through your phone.
Mr. Maskey,
Yes.
Mr. Bradley,
Say yes, Howard. Howard, say yes into my phone, into your phone. Can you do it, Howard? Yeah, but he's.
Mr. Dink,
Yeah. Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes.
Okay.
Joe,
Yes.
you there?
Will. Okay. Next docket. Next, we can operate without his unless we have a disagreement, and then we'll figure it out again, maybe.
Excuse me,
Next docket.
I had a question.
Who's I?
Discussion from Mr. Levy.
Yeah, this is Will Levy. I just had a question in regards to what was actually approved, just so I'm clear.
Hey.
I have till March 1st.
I'm gonna leave the phone open.
Mr. Levy, you have until March 1st to submit plans to the Department of Building and Housing for a permit for your rehab.
2021.
2021.
2020.
Okay, understood. I just wanted to make
21,
sure I
I'm
was-
sorry.
Okay, and I'm good. I can leave from here. Is that okay?
Are we squared away? Are we ready for docket A3020?
All right. Thank you.
A3020, are we hearing that docket? I have a note that it's closing today. Well, the docket is
We're hearing it.
2204 Tate Avenue.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is led as an interior and exterior maintenance issued December 26, 2019. Appeal statement received February 4th, 2020, requesting for time to abate the violations. Present for the hearing, Tom Vanover, Building and Housing, Patricia Ashton, Law, and the appellant is present. Can you please state your name for the record?
Please state your name. Is Basma Hamid the appellant?
Mr. Hamid, can you hear? Are you there?
Carmela, have you talked to Hamid?
He's on here. I think he's
Yeah.
on the audio.
He logged in twice as well. That was the earlier echo we were getting.
Oh,
So he one of them was removed, and he's probably now having trouble sharing his camera and his audio. I would
And
recommend that he log out and log back in, and then we can come back to his case. I think Mr. Bradley needs to do the same thing.
Yeah, Mr. Bradley, you're logged in twice. I don't know why, and they're both muted at the moment.
Howard, are you hearing anything?
The appellant did not hear us. I'm advising him not to log in and log back out.
Okay, well, whatever device he's on, we can't hear him. So
Is that Hamid? Is,
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so he's logging out, he's gonna log back in.
okay. What are we gonna do about that? Okay, he's logged out. I think he just logged out.
He did.
Mr. Chairman, in respect for everybody else, can we move on to the next docket and come back?
Wait, oh, that's Howard, okay.
Oh, now we can hear Howard.
All right, we will suspend hearing on docket 8/30/20 and proceed to a 6620. Carmelo?
Docket A 6620 has been rescheduled for February 3rd.
Got it. Thank you. Noted. Next docket, is there an A60? There we are, A6720. 4726 Wetzel Avenue.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is exterior maintenance. Issued June 9th, 2020. Appeal statement received July 7th, 2020, requesting for 6 months to abate the violation. Present for the hearing, Tom Vanover, Building and Housing. Patricia Aston, Law. The appellant has been notified and has failed to respond. I did have communication from Council President Kevin Kelly as his wishes to not extend any more time to this property. You can now swear in Tom Vanover and Patty Aston.
Solemnly swear or affirm the comments you're about to make are the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
I do.
Okay.
Preliminarily, Mr. Chairman, this is Patricia McGinty, Aston City, Cleveland Law Department. Mr. Chairman, to Ms. Davis, did the board receive any phone call, voicemail, email, or any such communication from the appellant in this docket, Karen Jones?
No.
So, Mr. Chairman, it appears that the board has the ability to proceed under due process rights, and Ms. Jones had been, that's the other thing I forgot. Ms. Davis, was the notice of today's public hearing returned to the board's file for any reason?
No.
So this board may proceed accordingly, Mr. Chairman, as you have the right to proceed. Thank you.
Solemnly swear or affirm the comments you're about to make are the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I did. We already did that. Mr. Chairman, I believe this property is owner occupied and the appellant's not present.
Right.
So, I mean, we would ask that you deny it and remand it back to the department, but based on the councilman's, the photographs and the councilman's concerns. But that being said, I expect that we will be hearing from this appellant as well at some point. So the city's position is based on the condition of the garage roof, that you deny it and remand it back to us.
Thank you. Any comments from board members?
Agree.
A motion is in order to deny the request for any additional time, noting that the condition and the comments by people informed and the lack of attendance of the appellant. Motion so in order.
So move.
Motion by Mr. Bradley, second Mr. Maskey.
Mr. Maskey,
Yes.
Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
Mr. Dean,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes.
Looks like
You've
Ms.
got-
Ahmed is back. We can go back to 8/30/20.
Okay. We will reopen docket A/30/20, 2204 Tate Avenue.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is lead and interior and exterior maintenance. Issued December 26, 2019. Appeal statement received February 4th, 2020, requesting for time. Present for the hearing, Tom Vanover, Building and Housing. Patricia Ashton, Law. Appellant, please state your name for the record.
Bas Mohammed.
Solemnly swear or affirm the comments you're about to make are the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
May we hear your plans for the lead violation and the exterior maintenance?
The inspector stopped by a couple of days ago, and she wrote down that everything is good. I put the smoke detectors, they're installed. I sent pictures to the inspector. By email, I hope she received them. And about the lead, the inspector, he's doing it today to do the lead test. It's like a third party, and he's going to send me the documents hopefully in a couple of days, and I will be sending them to the health department.
Okay, board members, till March 1st.
Mr. Vanover.
Abatement.
Go to Mr. Vanover.
Mr. Vanover, any comments? Thank you.
So yeah, Mr. Based on the testimony given, I do not have that report. Apologize from the inspectors, from this inspector. So I will take the appellate's word. We do not object to a compliance date based on the testimony, and then remand it to the department from then on.
Thank you. A motion is ordered to grant the appellant until March 1st to complete abatement of the violations.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
So
Thank
moved.
you very much.
Mr. Vanover, do you have a
March
motion
2020 or 2021.
I'm sorry, 2021.
Good, so moved.
Second.
Motion, Mr. Gallagher, second by Mr. Bradley. Call the roll,
Mr.
please.
Maskey,
Yes.
Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
There you go.
Mr. Dink,
Yes,
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes.
thank you. Next docket. Next
Thank
docket,
you.
2488 East 82nd Street.
I'm sorry, 1 second. Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is condemnation of the main structure issued April 14, 2020. Appeal statement received May 12, 2020, requesting for 1 year to abate the violation. Present for the hearing, Tom Vanover, Building and Housing. Patricia Ashton, Law. And if the appellant is present, please state your name for the record.
Rodney Reynolds.
Thank you. Okay. Solemnly swear or affirm the comments you're about to make are the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Reynolds, what is your plan?
My plan is to put the whole house back together. It's my family house. I was under the impression that I was actually waiting to hear back from the courts as to how much time I would have. I didn't know I actually had the time as of the date, but we never got a response, so I didn't know whether I could go get the permits and get started or what was going on. But if that's possible and that's what's being granted possibly today, I can get started immediately and renovate the whole place. Because it's not as bad as the inspector put it. I had the electrical done. It's on. That all passed. The electricity is on. The water lines and everything were installed. So that was passed. And of course the gas come in and turn it on and make sure there's no leaks. So everything else pretty much is structural. It already had new windows. I have to replace a couple of the windows in the front, but it's really not as bad as it seems. It just had my personal items inside, so it kind of looked cluttered. And then somebody broke in once to try to steal some things. But if I have the opportunity, I didn't know that they gave me the time, if that's what happened, because we didn't hear anything back. But if that's what's being said, I would love to hurry up and get started and get it together.
So,
Okay.
so Mr. Chairman, this violation notice was issued April 14th of 2020. On its face, the violation notice gives a compliance time. So I don't know about they didn't hear back from. The power, and if there's no permits for there's no permits for the electrical, plumbing, HVAC or building, we would grant a permit to turn the power back on so that one could work. But the gas should not be on in this property. And if the gas company turned it on, that was their error.
No,
We do.
it's not on.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I gotta finally hit the hand button. The gas is not on, and the water.
Okay.
The only thing that I had turned on last year was the electricity. All that was already on when they came out to inspect.
Okay.
And I didn't see anything that said we had a year. I don't know.
Well, you don't,
Yeah,
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, to the appellate, you don't have a year. You had 30 days in which to file this appeal, which you did, and then to pull your permits. Now, if once the permits are pulled, the residential building code, Mr. Chairman, to the appellate, will grant you more time. But Mr. Chairman, we object. If the appellate, Mr. Chairman, to the appellate, are you just asking for more time, or are you objecting to the violation? Because those are two entirely different things from our perspective.
Oh no, I don't have a problem with that. Whatever, the house needs to be done. And I'm not objecting to them saying that it needs to be taken care of. I wanted to get clear on the time. I assumed one thing. I was probably wrong about that, I guess. But yeah, I just need more time. I can go ahead and get started on it and get it completed.
So, Mr. Chairman, we don't object to 2 weeks to make application and pull the permits, and then the 180 days as provided by the Residential Code of Ohio.
Now, he mentioned that he had the water on also, but no gas.
No, the water's not on.
Oh, okay.
This was before this happened. No, no water is on. No, but the proper, the lines were already changed way before the April of last year. Everything, because there was work being done. I had the contractors in there. Everything. They had actually ran a new water line, and everything. But
did you have permits?
The permits for the water line?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. I mean, they didn't tear up the ground or anything, but it was just a copper line. But yeah, they did. This was I think at the beginning of last year or before. It might have been 2019. No, 18. But then what happened was I had filed a bankruptcy. I can't even remember what year it was, and
okay, well, let's give him his 2 weeks to apply for the permits.
Very good.
Okay.
Go ahead.
A motion.
Okay.
A motion is in order to grant the appellant until February 15th, 2021 to obtain the required permits. Motion so in order. Mr. Gallagher, did you have a comment?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I'm good to go. Second.
Okay.
So moved.
Motion so in order.
So moved.
Motion, Mr. Bradley. Second by Mr. Gallagher. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
Mr. Dink,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes.
Thank you. The next docket, A 7220.
Could I say something right quick?
Go ahead.
Now with the proceed, I just got to go down. I just want to get it clear so I don't have it mixed up. So I go down and get the proper permits, and do I have to go and then come back and ask for more time, or?
No, you will go, Mr. Chairman, to the appellate. You'll pull you'll submit for the permits, and the permits under the Ohio Administrative Code. Once your permits are approved, and through our rehab plan, you have 180 days to complete them. Okay. You'll have 48 hours you can download all the applications online from our website. You'll have 48 hours to secure the property, and then you have a period of time to finish the outside of the property, and then you have 180 days to complete the entire rehab to receive a certificate of occupancy.
Okay, and what's that website?
Just search City of Cleveland Building Department.
Okay,
And understand that you'll need a building permit, a residential building permit, a residential electrical permit, a residential plumbing permit, and a residential HVAC permit.
okay. Now, if the electricity was already done and had the permit and they okayed it and it was on, do I still have to get that? Because this.
Yes, because your permit is not for the, Mr. Chairman of the appellate, your permit is not for the electrical wiring. It's only for the panel and the service.
Oh,
So you will need all of those permits, and they will all need to be inspected and any corrections made.
okay. So that's the permit for the electrical wires inside the house, like.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much.
All set?
Thank you.
Thank you.
I can
Next.
click off.
Next docket, A 7020, 2031 West 103rd Street.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is rental registration and exterior maintenance. Issued December 13th, 2019. Appeal a statement received January 10th, 2020, requesting for time to abate the violation. Present for the hearing, Tom Vanover, Building and Housing, Patricia Ashton Law. If the appellant is present, please state your name for the record.
And there's no person, if Robinson and Robinson Estates, is anyone present for that?
Mr. Chairman, this is Patty. Preliminarily to Ms. Davis, was the board's notice returned to the board's file for any reason?
No, the appellant should be here. I don't know if it's the Charles Finkling or the calling user, but they have the link. We were in communication earlier.
Okay, thank you.
So the person for the property at 2031 West 103rd Street, you need to speak up.
From Robinson and Robinson Estates, is anyone present?
Mr. Chairman, can we move this to the end of the docket?
Yes, thank you. Next docket. Next docket is 7220. Ms. Davis, there you go. Okay.
Has been withdrawn.
That has been withdrawn. Thank you. Next docket. Next docket is 70, thank you. Next docket, A 7320, 3666 West 139th Street.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is exterior maintenance. Issued January 10th, 2020. Appeal statement received February 19th, 2020, requesting for 6 months to abate the violation. Present for the hearing, Tom Vanover, Building and Housing, Patricia Ashton Law. The appellant for the property located at 3666 West 139th Street. Please state your name for the record.
Judith Muldoon. Is Judith Muldoon present?
Okay, this appellant, I did not receive any, they were properly notified. They did not reach back out to the board.
Mr. Chairman, this is Patricia McGinty, Ashton for City of Cleveland Law Department. Ms. Davis, did the board's notice get returned to the board's file for any reason?
No.
And you had just stated you've had no communication, no voicemail, email, or any other communication from this appellant?
No.
And Mr. Chairman, it appears you do have the due process right to proceed as the appellant was properly notified and did not contact the board or appear today. Thank you.
Thank you, and we do have pictures for this. Solemnly swear or affirm the comments you're about to make are the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Okay, Mr. Vanover?
So, Mr. Chairman, this is an exterior maintenance notice, and we would ask that you I don't know specifically what they're requesting in their appeal statement, but we would ask that you deny it and remand it back to the department.
Any comments from board members? The property,
Agree.
a motion is in order to derive the request for additional time and to remand the property to the Division Building and Housing. Notice that there was no response or any other action from the appellant. Motion so in order.
So moved.
Motion, Mr. Gallagher.
Second.
Second, Mr. Maskey. Call the roll, please. Ms. Davis? Ms. Davis? She here?
You can call the roll, Joe.
Thank you. Mr. Bradley?
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher?
Yes.
Mr. Maskey?
Yes.
Mr. Dank, yes. Next docket, A7520, 6001 Dibble Avenue. We've got a communication problem.
Carmella?
Ms. Davis?
Okay, thank you. Bye. I'm sorry, I had lost internet connection. And Mr. Maskey?
We voted already.
Okay. Are we calling the roll? What are we doing here?
We're
On docket 7520.
Thank you, Maurice. Mr. Rowland.
7520. Application are in order. Notice of violation is a violation of the permitting time that was issued on June 5th, 2018. Present for the hearing, Tom Venable, Building and Housing, Patricia Ashton, Law, and we have Mauritius Gray's son on. Randy, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Solemnly swear or affirm the comments you're about to make are the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
May we hear. Mr. Vanover.
Mr. Chairman, the appellant, Ms. Grace, appellant should speak first as to what this is, as to what their plan is and what their request is. This was a permit that was issued with a plan approval time. They failed to comply with the time limit set by the plan approval. Permit was, I believe it was then closed and non-compliant. So I don't know what the ask is here.
Okay, Ms. Gray,
We have
you
Miss
here?
Aston with her hand raised.
Ms. Aston, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To Ms. Gray's son, are you still on the line?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, I noticed in Citizens Access that there was a zoning appeal. Is that correct?
There's a zoning appeal.
Did you?
We was in a, that was about the board ups or something, and they cleared that up.
Oh, that was, from my understanding, that was cleared up. That was about the board ups.
Okay, so that had nothing to do with this permit. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, that's the only thing I wanted to clarify, Mr. Chairman, that it was not related, anything appeals to BOZA was not related to this appeal. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. May we hear from Mr. Gray?
Yes, well, we're in the process of actually completing the repairs to the property. My mother is a senior citizen, so we were actually looking for some type of help from Cleveland. We tried to contact Cleveland Housing Network just to see what type of program they offered. Then we contacted Eden to see what type of programs were available, just for assistance with the rehab of the property. because she's a senior citizen on a fixed income, and and she's pretty much done as much as she can do. So we're trying to help her out now to get the property together. So the electrical is done. That's been completed. The exterior of the property, we've cut down trees, as well as we've done renovations on the inside of the property, just to get the property in a better standing. So now we're just looking to pretty much get more time to go ahead and complete the project.
How much more time do you need?
We were trying to get another 12 months, just because of the way the pandemic has affected everyone. Like her sons, we're all trying to help her out, but the pandemic's affected us. Well, we can't do but so much. It is just taking longer than we anticipated.
Mr. Vanover, do you have a comment?
So, Mr. Chairman, yes, this, I want to make sure that for procedurally we're clear. This is not a appeal for the condemnation notice. This is an appeal for permits that were issued that they're requesting an extension of time. These are permits that were issued at this point 2.5 years ago. So the Residential Code of Ohio is very clear that if the work is abandoned for more than 180 days, the permit and the plan approval becomes invalid. These permits were closed for lack of progress on the project, and now under the Ohio Administrative Code, the plan approval is invalid. The path forward for this is that they would need to, and although I appreciate that she's a senior citizen on a fixed income, this is not her primary dwelling. This is a second property that is an investment property. So this is not her primary dwelling. So we would ask that you uphold the action of closing the permits, deny more time, and the applicant then can get their financial situation in place, and they can apply and pull new permits for the rehab of this structure. But these permits are invalid due to lack of work. So contrary to other appeals where there's a variance really granted from the time frame, the appeal for this purpose is to show that there was progress and that there was work done in this time. That is not the case. That is not the testimony that I've heard. And the project has been, actually the testimony says that they've done all that they can, and the project has been abandoned for 180 days. Therefore, the plan approval is invalid and the permits are closed.
Thank you.
Now, closing the permits would only slow down the project, because that's more money that would have to come out of the pocket to purchase new permits, which is pretty much not going to help the project.
So, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Gray, I understand that and I respect that, but I want to make sure that everybody is aware what the law actually says. The law says after 180 days of abandonment, the plan approval is invalid.
Yes, I understand that, but the law doesn't say anything about a pandemic that we're going through.
Well, these were issued in June of 2018, so this was nearly a year, 2 years before the pandemic.
No, we sent in $60 to get an extension.
Well, we sent in payments for an extension as well. So we're in the process of, but it's just over pandemic, so it's kind of hard at this time.
The pandemic doesn't, I'm not sure I heard the conversation totally, but the permit extension or permit time was well before the pandemic. And Mr. Vanover, is there a way for him to to obtain a permit for lesser work because he's completed some? And
Mr. Dank, we also have Mr. Maschke with his hand raised.
Oh, he would know that stuff. Mr. Maskey.
Mr. Chairman, to the appellant, is your project funded and you can't find workers, or you have limited funds and you can't hire workers?
There's limited funds, so we're trying to do the work ourselves, so we can't actually hire workers. So that's what we were looking for, different programs to assist senior citizens in renovations like this.
Mr. Chairman, I would recommend that we remand the project, we close it out and remand it back to the city, and then the appellant can work with the city to complete this. Maybe there's a senior initiative or something that qualifies, but this is a rental property, so I don't even know if that qualifies. That would be something Mr. Vanover can advise us on.
So but then our action would be just to say that the existing permits are no longer valid and they must apply.
Well, I tend to agree with the city in that they've been open since 2018. We're in 2021, and the project should have been long completed before we've had any of these issues the last year.
Right, and that's why we're saying they don't have permits anymore. Okay, well, we'll do
So,
it.
Mr. Chairman, and if I can, I want to make sure procedurally, because we don't get these appeals often. I want to make sure that we're clear. The board's ability here is to either agree that the work was abandoned for 180 days or disagree.
Right.
And that on its face affects whether or not the plan approval is invalid or not. The way that my understanding, and you could ask one of the lawyers in the room. My understanding is that the code section that says it's invalid, it doesn't come with an inherent appeal right. The appeal is whether or not that is accurate. So that's our position. My position is that's what the board gets to decide on it. Either it was abandoned for 180 days or it was not.
I think we agree with that.
Okay.
Motion is ordered to find that.
And that number I called yesterday is a good number to reach. Okay. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. I took you guys off mute.
You know, Mr. Dank.
Did you guys call me?
I haven't finished.
Mr. Dank.
Okay.
Where am I? Yes.
Mr. Dank.
Mr.
Yes.
Gallagher.
If you want to ask Dennis if he agrees with Tom's interpretation of the law.
Okay. Mr. Machigi, do you have a comment at that?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. My understanding is that would be correct, although I'm wondering if there's also an additional right of appeal to BBS outside of this case. In other words, there'd have to be a second filing for the appeal that Mr. Vanover was talking about, but not in this case.
Well,
and Mr. Chairman, we would agree that is the case. However, that condemnation notice, they are beyond their statutory time period to file an appeal.
Mr.
Chairman, this is Patricia McGinty Aston with the City of Cleveland Law Department. I unfortunately did not get to see the filing with the board. I have not seen what was sent to the appellant and what was submitted as the appeal paperwork. That is going to govern, the city's position is that is going to govern what this appeal is. I don't know if it's the permits that were submitted or what was submitted and what the appeal was. So that's going to govern. So I would ask Mr. Vanover, what was submitted to the appellant to put on appeal?
And Ms. Aston, I don't know either. I don't have those.
Okay, so Mr.
However,
Chairman, and I need to finish this, Tom, given what you, Mr. Vanover, given what you've opined, I unfortunately now have to ask him, Mr. Chairman, to the appellant's son, what did you submit to the appellant? What did you submit to the board for appeal?
What was it?
We were supposed to pay $60 or something. They're supposed to.
Ms.
Besides
Davis?
the $60, what did you submit to the board for appeal?
Well, there was what was just a payment, and was it a statement?
Ms. Davis, do you have that in the file?
That was my next question, Mr. Chairman, to Ms. Davis. What was submitted to the board on appeal?
The only thing that was submitted to the board was the letter issued from the billing official, Tom Vanover, in regards to the permits being abandoned.
Can you read the date and what that letter says, since we can't see it? It's not put up on there. Because it'll state the reason.
I received it on February 12th. The issue date of the permits was June 5th, 2018. Inspection date was on February 3rd, 2020. They referenced the permit numbers, and it states, please be advised that per inspections of the above stated property under the permit number stated, the work authorized by has become suspended or abandoned for a period of 6 months. Furthermore, no extension of time has been requested or granted per City of Cleveland Codified Ordinance 3105.06B. The approval and permit for this work has become invalid. Because this permit is no longer valid, the permit will be closed and all related appeals revoked effective immediately. You have the right to appeal this notice. If you wish to appeal, you must file a written appeal within 7 days of the issuance date of this notice.
Mr. Chairman, we also, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. And Ms. Davis, you stated that appeal was received by the board on which date?
February 12th.
Okay, so Mr. Chairman, one, it is outside of the 7 days, apparently. But let me trying to get to the February 2020 calendar. The 7 days, February 3rd was a Monday. This February 12th would have been a Wednesday, the following Wednesday. But so the appeal to this board, as Mr. Vanover has stated, that was accepted by the board, is that it was abandoned for 6 months with the right to appeal for close, and that was the reason for closing it. So Mr. Vanover's statement to this board is correct. What is on appeal to this board is that the work was abandoned, which is the requirement under the plan approval, and the law is clear on that. He was notified and he's asserted his right to appeal. So this board, based upon the testimony, the city's position is should find that the work was abandoned and uphold the closure letter from Mr. Vanover as chief building official, deny the appeal and remand it. That is the city's position. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, we have Mr. Maskey has had his hand up for a while, and Ms. Davis.
Mr. Maskey.
Sorry, that's inadvertent.
Okay.
Mr. Maskey?
No, he said it was inadvertent. I guess Ms. Davis does have her hand raised, though.
Yeah, I want to clarify. The appeal was filed in a timely manner. The inspection date was on February 3rd. I don't have the envelope which the appellant proved to me when they received the appeal, which that is the time that their appeal time will start to file with the board.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, the city's not asserting that it's an untimely appeal. I just want to be clear.
Okay, and Mr. Vanover, I'm trying to get squared away on this. If they have a right to appeal on an extension of time, they have also stated that they wanted a year of time extension. And let's get back to my comment or question was, if they apply for a permit and the permit is invalid, then they could, it seems, apply for a permit for lesser work for a lesser amount of money. Is that?
Mr. Chairman, so the yes, the construction value, as it would seem, would be reduced because of the amount of work done. However, there were no inspections of any work that they said they had completed. The only inspections on this property were the initial inspection saying that the property was secured. Then there was an attempt at a rental registration inspection that did not happen because it was condemned. And then the final inspection to determine that the work had stopped. So, in
Well,
theory,
let's ask Mr. Gray if he thinks he has. Oh, excuse me.
Yes, there's actually been quite a bit of work done since the last inspection, so it would be a good idea to have an inspector come back out and get an updated violation list. That way we can, continue forward from that point.
so, Mr. Chairman, the Department of this property is condemned, and it will remain condemned until a certificate of occupancy is issued. Updated violations and updated work list, that's a responsibility of a design professional or a contractor. The city doesn't make punch lists. We issue plan approvals, we inspect according to the plan approvals, and once those are completed, then we'll issue a final inspection. We will do status inspections of the violations, but once a property is condemned, the requirement is to bring it up to current code for existing buildings and get a certificate of occupancy. So our position remains, these permits are invalid, and that the path forward is to make application for new permits, include the cost of work in those permits, and we will review them and approve them accordingly. We don't do plan reviews in BBS hearings.
No, I think that was the intention was to get a review of what's going on. They did pay some money at one time, so the inspection would be valid. Let me try. A motion is ordered to uphold the action of the Division of Building Housing and invalidate, state that the existing permits are invalid and that permits for the remaining work must be obtained from the Building and Housing, and you have till March 1st.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
There is no need, there is no time. This is, it's not, again, this is not for the violation notice. The determination that the permits are invalid is where the resolution stops, and then denying the request, denying the appeal and the request for more time. If you're not working on the violation notice, so they don't need more time to get more permits. You can't, this action cannot stay any enforcement on the violation notice. It's specifically to the permits at hand.
You're just about there, Joe. You just got to deny any time that you've already stated what we're doing.
Well, that's what I thought. That we want him to get back downtown.
No, it's up to him how he does that. But right now, what's before us is whether those permits are valid or not.
All right. A motion so in order.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Gallagher,
Second.
by Mr. Maskey. Call the roll, please.
Maskey, Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
Mr. Dean, Mr. Gallagher.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Next docket is a reopening of docket A 5220, 7026 Wade Park Avenue.
Application and fees are in order. This was a notice of condemnation of the main structure issued on February 18, 2020, where the appellant was asking for 6 months to abate the violation. Present for the hearing, Tom Vanover, Building and Housing, Patricia Aspen Law. The appellant is present. Please state your name for the record and your witness.
Who's that, Charles?
Yeah, this is Charles Pickman of C&T Construction Company.
Okay.
And Takara, Takara, are you still here?
Yeah.
Solemnly swear or affirm the comments you're about to make are the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Okay.
And we have Ms. Aston with her hand raised?
Preliminarily, Mr. Chairman, just to remind you, this was called on December 9th, 2020, when the appellant did not appear. Mr. Vanover addressed the board with the photos that we're seeing again now. The board, based upon everything presented at that time, denied and remanded the property, but we agreed to hold it until this hearing to see what the problem was, because I think there had been interaction with the board, is my recollection and my notes from December 9th. I just wanted to refresh you on that. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. May we hear from the appellant? Charles,
Yes,
we want to hear what your plan is.
plan is to demolish the place. We're gonna demo it just as soon as we can get the permits and the registration and permits in order, and we're gonna take it down.
Mr. Chairman, we don't object to March 15th to raise the structure. 2021.
Charles, what is your reaction to that? March 15th?
Well, we may need a little more time because hell, the permits are backed up. City Hall is closed, so it's taking them basically 30 days to issue permits, and then I have to come through there and with the inspectors and everything. So maybe 90 days, everything could be finalized or before. 90 days or before.
Mr. Chairman, demolition permits to raise an entire structure are not taking 30 days. I review this is a commercial structure. I review every one of those personally.
Well, I have to register and everything.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking the time process from start to finish to get the company in there, get everything, get the permit in place, and get it raised.
All right. So, Mr. Chairman, how about we split it? I don't object to 60 days. At 90 days is concerning because it starts to get into the warmer months and more activity on the streets.
That would be preferable due to the scheduling. Now, you said March, that's 60 days. So I'm just asking for another 30 days on that, because it's almost February now. In another week, it'll be February. So I knew March was cutting it kind of close.
April 15th? Going?
Yeah. April 15th. April was good.
Okay. A motion is urged to grant the appellant until April 15th to complete abatement of the violations. Motion so in order.
So move.
So, Mr. Bradley, motion, Mr. Bradley.
Second.
Second by Mr. Maskey. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Maskey? Mr. Bradley?
Yes.
Mr. Dink?
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, this is Patty. You do mean 2021, correct?
2021 amended. Vote as amended.
Mr. Chairman, we do have docket case 7020, Ms. Tasha White, she's on the phone.
Yes.
Okay, we can go back to reopening her docket.
Bring me up to date.
Excuse me, board. Am I still live?
You're here.
The appellant for
Okay,
870.
I have a question because there's a vacant piece of land that's adjacent to the structure.
Mr. Chairman, it's improper for him to
Yeah,
proceed on something not before this board, and you've moved on from this. I'm going to ask that you not hear from him. Thank you.
Where am I? Are we on A7020?
He's gonna have to call City Hall for that.
Yeah, Mr. Fickman, you'll have to reach out to the owner of that property.
Okay, so I'll alert them of it's some dumping going on the adjacent property.
Okay,
I just didn't want it to be tied up with the permit that I'm pulling to do my demo.
Rightfully said. So, what you'll do, I apologize to the board. What you'll do is reach out to the City of Cleveland complaint line. You can find that on our website, And your inspector, when you get your permit, you're going to want to identify that to them, providing them, I mean, if it's not your stuff, they'll make a note of that.
Okay, thank you very much.
We're done there?
We're done there.
Okay,
All
now,
right, everybody have a good day.
now, okay, here we are. Thank you, Carmella. Next docket, A 7020, 2031 West 103rd Street.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is rental registration and exterior maintenance. Issued December 13th, 2019. Appeal statement received January 10th, 2020.
I said he gonna be
Requesting for time to abate the violations. Present for the hearing, Tom Vanover, Building and Housing. Patricia Ashton Law. And Tasha White, owner.
Solemnly swear or affirm the comments you are about to make are the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Yes.
Now, we have the appellant present.
Who's that? You said the who?
Is the appellant present?
Sure what that is, but I'm here.
Robinson and Robinson Estate?
That's me, yes.
Okay, and what is your plan for the property?
My plan honestly was this past summer to just get a lot of work done. But due to COVID, to be honest, everybody, I feel like it was very hard for me to find a contractor to do the work. We did do some things. There was windows put in that was repaired for up and downstairs, and the bottom part of the portion was done, but the top was not done. So I was able to do some, but not as much as I wanted to get done.
Do you have a permit for the entire project for all the maintenance? Any required permits? Mr. Vanover, do you have a comment on that?
I do not, Mr. Chairman. Ms. White? Do you have permits? Have you had inspections?
So I don't think the home required any inspections, to be honest. If it did, I was not aware of it. It's not a whole lot of work that needs to be done on the property. But I wasn't aware that there were permits pulled at one point in time. But I wasn't aware that I needed to pull any other permits, because I don't think that the work that needs to be done is that major.
Oh,
I'm on the
Mr.
phone.
Chairman, to the appellate, according to the list that we have here, we've got, there's a deterioration of the stairwell with loose or missing pieces, deteriorated sheeting, and problems with the porch system. Windows cracked, broken, or missing. I mean, those can be repaired.
Those were done.
So,
upstairs
has
and
your
downstairs.
inspector been back out to look at this?
There was not an inspector out, but this was done back in the stuff, the downstairs porch that was repaired, and the windows that was cracked and broken up and downstairs was repaired this past summer. I don't actually live in Georgia. I'm sorry, I live in Georgia. I don't live in Ohio. But there was nobody reached out to me to come back or notify me that another inspection was done since.
Well,
first one.
Mr. Chairman of the appellate, who is your local contact that is managing the property?
Are you? I'm sorry, I'm not sure they were talking to me or you.
Yeah, I was. The City of Cleveland codified ordinance.
I have not verbally spoken to anyone. I got the notice, and I went from the notice that they gave me a violation for the work that I had done. The only person that I had verbally talked to was when I reached out to try to get an appeal. But I have not spoke to an inspector or talked to anybody.
Okay, so my question is, the law requires that if you do not live in Cuyahoga County, that you have a custodian that manages your property. And I will point out to the board that this is corporately owned. This isn't a homeowner. This is a Robinson and Robinson Estates LLC corporation. So you are required law to have a manager in the county. Do you manager
no,
in the county?
So I have someone that does work for me and manages my property. I didn't know that was the question you was asking. I
Yeah.
thought, who was I talking to from the city? I thought
Okay.
you were asking me what inspector I was communicating
Okay, so
with.
you do have a manager in the city. So I'm just responding to your statement that you live in Georgia, which is
Yes,
fine.
I
But
do.
your contact here probably should be on in the appeal as well if you're not the one managing the day to day. But that being said, the inspector, you have the inspector's name, phone number, and email are on the violation notice, and our status is done based on inspection. So although there's testimony that work has been completed, there hasn't been a follow-up inspection on this property. So that being said, I will also point out that this was issued December 13th of 2019, and the pandemic and the shutdowns didn't happen until 5 months later in March 17th. So
Well, I asked
although
for the
I don't
extension to
disagree,
be.
if I can
Go ahead, I'm sorry. I'm
finish
sorry.
I do agree
I'm
that
sorry.
the pandemic has delayed some work. But I mean, I see it every day where people are moving forward, but there was 5 months to make these corrections, get it inspected and get it closed prior to the pandemic shutdowns. That being said, Mr. Chairman, I haven't heard a date. When is the expectation, it's requesting more time? How much more time? When will this be completed?
Okay, so if I could say something in response to what you said, as far as that I've already had 6 months. So when I got violated, I asked if I could have until the summer to get things situated, because I was actually going to be present and come down there and get some work done myself, because I was going to come down there for a month. So when the pandemic happened, I wasn't able to come there and make the repair. Like, I wanted to be present for work to be done, because I know all the times when people say they're going to do something, they don't do it. But when I'm present, more things can get done. So it stopped me from doing that. So if I could have until this coming summer to do the same thing that I had planned, to come down there and leave my home to come down there, I'm going to come down there for a month and stay until the work is complete. That way, when contractors say that they're going to start on this day, they know I'm there, the work is going to be done. I actually, even though I didn't come, I still was reaching out to contractors, because I have a maintenance guy that does things that go around there, but I wanted a contractor to do a few things because I was going to get more than what I had to get done. Well, the contractor that I had initially hired to do some work for me basically just kind of took the deposit and never showed back up. So that's why I want to be present, to make sure things is done right. So if I could have until the summer to come down there and do the same thing my plan was, I can get a lot of work done.
Mr. Chairman, to Ms. White, is this property occupied?
There is someone there. That's the guy who handles little maintenance stuff for me.
So this is the two dwelling unit property.
Yeah, no one is upstairs. There is someone downstairs, and I'm not receiving rent from him. He is just kind of like there, like a friend of the family, to make sure that nobody breaks in or, things, stuff like that. And he keeps the grass cut for me and stuff like that.
So, Mr. Chairman, to the appellant, I appreciate your position and your concerns. However, the citizens and the neighbors on West 103rd Street, they're not the ones that made a decision for you to live in Georgia and for the property to be in Cleveland. So I would object to waiting until the summer. I think that much of this work can be done immediately. If any time is given, I think it should be a very shortened time period. I'll also state that this is an investment property, and there's an expectation that the property is maintained, not waiting for the city to come and issue a violation notice after things are broken or deteriorated. This should have never gotten to this position as a corporately owned property. So the fact that we have to issue a notice of violation, I think, is improper, and therefore granting more time because it's owned by an out-of-town investor, I think is not fair to the people that live on West 103rd Street. So we would object
Can
to
I
any
reply
more
to that?
time. Hold on. We would object to any
Mhm.
more time, and any time given, we would ask that it be a very short time frame, because we're now more than a year of this notice of violation for what is, if this isn't a condemnation, this is rental registration and exterior maintenance.
Okay, my response, sir, I'm not, I don't consider myself as an investor, okay? I'm a woman trying to hold a small business and support her children, okay? I have not abandoned the place. I have a business name, but I am not a corporate. I am still a sole proprietor. I don't have a whole staff. To me, a corporate is when you have a whole lot of people working. I'm doing this by myself, okay? I'm taking my hard-earned money that I work every day to throw into this property because I prefer to keep it. So I understand your situation, and it's been a year, but COVID has been almost a year as well. And the plan that I had to go down there and do it, there was no way to do it.
Mr. Chairman, Patty Aston.
Ms. Aston.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Although the city is appreciative of the appellant's attempt to have a business, the law is clear that she's chosen to own this as an LLC instead of in her name. So she gets the benefit of that as well as the burdens of that, and everything else remains true. Thank you.
It would seem that the appellant could direct the person in residence, however non-permitted it is you could arrange someone to do the work, because it doesn't look like a lot of work or difficult work, and then tell them to show up, make an arrangement for them to show up. If they don't show up, they don't get paid, but at least you're trying to do it. To wait
But
until
the
you're
weather
down
right
there
now, though,
also seems, you can come down halfway through for a day or two and see that it's done. That's all. And really, everybody's right. You don't have any friends on this side of it, because it's your commission to do this work from the board, like March 1st as a date of completion.
but the weather outside is freezing cold. Who's going to do work outside in the freezing cold? That's the only reason I'm asking till the weather is more permitted. Not because I can't come. I can come, but the weather is permitting them to do outside work.
You're somewhat right. Where do we go with this thing? Can somebody else make a date? Robert?
That's the only reason why I asked for summer, only because it's
Mr.
not that
Chairman,
I can come.
Based on what I'm seeing on this screen, windows, canopy sagging, sheathing, fence, that's carpentry work. Carpenters work year-round in Cleveland, Ohio.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm building 3 homes right now with carpenters in this weather.
Yeah, but you're getting built 3 homes. A lot of people won't come for small stuff and be outside unless there's a lot of money is involved. You're getting a house built. Minor repairs are way different. A contractor will take your case before they will take mine. And I want to know, what windows are you seeing? Because I bought a few new windows and had somebody put them in. So I would like to know, what windows are you looking at?
Ma'am, I'm just looking at the
damaged?
screen that
That's not
says
true.
windows deteriorated, broken, cracked, missing. That's the only
Okay, but those
information
were
that's
done already
provided.
this summer. Those
Well,
were
then-
already done this summer.
So, Mr. Chairman, to the appellant, so it sounds like that the outside work has even gotten smaller. The reality is, the follow-up inspection hasn't been done to verify what has been completed. So, based on that, even that makes the exterior work even less. So, again, the city's position, we don't object to an April 1st compliance date. which grants an additional 4 weeks from what the,
And we're having a
what you had
very
said.
mild winter, a very mild winter. A motion is urged to grant the appellant until April 1st, 2021 to complete abatement of the violations. Motion so in order.
So moved.
Second.
Motion,
I have a
Mr.
question.
Maskey, second, Mr. Gallagher. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Maskey,
Yes.
Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
Mr. Dink,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I'm seeing the picture. Or is this another one?
No, I thought I would put up a picture. This was taken on November 12th, 2020 of the structure, just so you had an idea of what you were looking at.
It can be done. Robert's doing 2 houses right now, or 3 or 4. Okay, next docket. Are we done with the docket?
It should be done.
I believe we're done.
Okay. May I see
Resolutions?
we want to see the resolutions. Okay,
So who do I contact? So I will contact the inspector once more work is done.
correct, the inspector that's on your violation notice.
And if I have maybe a 1 or 2 things that are not done by then, can I request more time? Or, if I show that work is being done?
Yes, you can work that with discuss that with the inspector.
Okay, thank you.
all right, we're done with that.
Okay.
Ms. Davis, what is the 5220 in red for?
That's the docket that we just gave more time until April 1st. So we're gonna hold off on that adoption today.
Okay, all right, thank you. Approval of resolutions for the following A-20 resolutions: 51, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, and 64. Any additions or corrections?
No.
Motion for approval as submitted.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Gallagher, second by Mr. Bradley.
Mr. Maskey,
Yes.
Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
Mr. Dink,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes. Yes.
Next item, approval of the minutes of December 9, 2020. Any additions, corrections?
No.
Hearing none. Motion for approval as submitted.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Bradley? No. Yes. Second,
Pick a name.
second by Mr. Dank. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Maskey,
Yes.
Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
Mr.
I heard that.
Mr. Dank, yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes.
Any further official business? None, the meeting is adjourned.
Can we have monkey business?
Oh, boy.
Yes, go ahead.
Do that, Mr. Dink. If this ends up in court, we're in so much trouble.
Whoa, whoa.
Like, it began at 9 o'clock with monkey business.
That's so true, Mr. Gallagher. Listen, Happy New Year to everybody. Stay safe. It was good to see everybody.
Hey, can we